Hey guys, it's Mark from North 7 Outdoors. Welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to talk about day 2 of the Newboro Lake tournament. Well guys, day 2 was not exactly like day 1. It was blowing hard and they were calling for thunderstorms. So we decided to cancel the tournament 2 or 2.5 hours early. I wasn't really too shocked or even really disappointed. It's actually quite nice to, after on a 2-day tournament, it's quite nice to leave a little bit earlier, get home a little bit earlier, because that's effectively your weekend. Now you gotta go back to work. So I kind of thought that we would be able to find our bag probably by 11 o'clock, and I was very wrong with that assumption. So we started off fishing some islands we had a little bit of luck with on the first day. Lionel ended up catching 2, and I called my shot and caught that nice smallmouth. So we had 3 in the live well. I missed I'm gonna assume a smallmouth. I missed a pretty nice one. I never told Lionel about it. It was just, I felt weight and then it was just gone. So the wind started picking up like pretty much, and the bites were few and far between there. They're hard to come by for sure. So we went back to another little bay, out of the wind a bit. I ended up catching 2 bass there. A 13-incher, which I didn't keep. I got them right in the tongue. A little technique that probably the best piece of advice I've ever gotten from a professional angler was this little wacky worm trick where you throw your wacky worm out and you retie. Like I always retie my rods and that, but basically always have a line in the water. And that's the first time I've ever like got hooked a fish. I didn't even gut hook it, I just got him right in the bottom, right in the tongue. And I knew like this thing was not going to make it. 13 inches, probably like 1 1/3 maybe, and it probably wasn't going to make it to the weigh-in. So I was like, no, I don't care how many fish we have in the live well, we're not keeping that guy. And maybe he lived, I don't know. But anyways, I knew it wasn't the right decision to keep that fish for the weigh-ins. Ended up getting like a 2-pounder there. Went back to, fished a couple newer spots. They were all garbage. Went back to the island, missed a smallmouth that was like 3 pounds. I had to edit that video down. I was not happy. This is the reality. If you want to be a good tournament fisherman, you need to have the competitive streak, edge, you know, a chip on your shoulder in some reality. I'll never ever lose my stuff on my co-angler, but I will lose my stuff on myself. If Lionel catches a fish, it's a good day. If Lionel catches a fish that helps us in the tournament, it's a great day. That's up to him, how many fish he wants to add to the bag, and whatever he decides. If he decides anything, that's great. For me, I have my own expectations about what I want to accomplish. And, you know, I've gotten beat up enough in tournaments that it's kind of, you take it a little bit better. You take your beatings a little bit better. But I was spun out at losing that smallmouth. And that sucked, because I mean, you know, that's your highs and your lows, and I knew, I was pretty confident we were going to leave it at 4 fish. I'm like, we let this tournament slip through our fingers, and I was upset with myself. Ended up catching, probably a 1 3/4 largemouth off the islands, and then we had like an hour and like 20 minutes left, and Lionel's like, let's go fish some new water. And then kind of the end of the video, we see me like calling a bunch of different fish. We hit one shoreline, I threw out 3 times, caught like 3 pound and 3/4, 2 pounds, like 3 casts, and I had to call beat all of them. I wasn't really in a great mood. I knew that this tournament was slipping through my fingers here. So, you know, I wasn't in a horrible mood. I was just like, ah, it sucks, you know. But we kept fishing this island out of the wind, and I caught a lot of largemouth bass. My battery died in the GoPro. I was just like, yeah, let it die. Then I got to this one dock, and I threw out a little Senko. Friggin' sometimes you can just tell that a big fish had gotten it. I never had the hook into this fish. I just set the hook up and my worm was gone. And sometimes you just tell, I think the big ones, when they bite the worm, and you set the hook, it just instantly peels off like the plastic, and you just kind of, I don't know, it's hard to describe it. If you're huge into wacky worming like me, you just kind of know which ones are the good bites. So I'm like, mental note. So we went all the way to the tip of the island. Wind was blowing the other way, pretty bad. And I'm like, we got 15-20 minutes left. Let's work our way back to that dock. And that little stretch where I caught a bunch of little 2-pounders. And I hooked into the other one that you see in my thumbnail, a good sized largemouth. That was probably probably a little bit more than 3 3/4, probably not 4 pounds, probably like a 385 probably, like a 314 or something. And we got that fish in the live well at 12:52. Weigh-ins were at 1 o'clock. And we were very close to the weigh-in station, so we were probably the last team to get back, but we still had like 2 minutes to spare. Regrets. So, you know, and I'll talk about momentum here. You just kind of know, like, you just kind of, when I caught that fish, I was just like, all right, like, we've secured 3rd place. And it's funny because we end up winning 3rd place by like an ounce. And it didn't even play out slightly like the way I thought it would play out. But sometimes you're just like, oh my god, we did it. I thought we had a bigger bag. I know we had... The smallmouth was probably 3.5. The largemouth was probably, you know, easily pushing 4. Lionel's largemouth was probably 3 1/4, 3 1/3 maybe. My other largemouths, Lionel's other largemouth was probably like 1 3/4. The other largemouth was probably 1 3/4. I was pegging them in my mind a little bit bigger than 2 pounds. So, you know, when you see the weigh-in, I was like 15. I was like, we might have 15. I thought we had like 15.5, and then when I'm filling in the live well bag, I'm like, okay, yeah, these fish are smaller than I thought they were. The 3 big ones definitely would have helped us a lot to anchor that bag. One regret, I wish I did. I wish I just threw that bass in the live well and called out the other one. I wish I made a couple more casts at that dock. I missed a big one because I was working my way back to the dock, and it very well probably was the same fish. Maybe it was or wasn't, I don't know. But we made it to about 15 feet, 20 feet of that dock where I just had a feeling I lost a big one. And at 12:52, when we threw that in there, we were gone. I wish I had spent 2 more minutes fishing that dock, and it could have very well, if there was another 4 or 5 pounder underneath that dock, it would have changed out things a lot. But that's the video. You know, we weighed in 29.55 for 2 days. Never seen the lake before. It's pretty sweet. And that's the thing, like, I'm sure that day 2 was probably as bad as most days are. A lot of tournaments got canceled that day. Not our series, but other series. You know, you read Facebook or whatever. And, you know, some tournaments got canceled. So it probably was one of the worst days, but for that lake, or just fishing in general. But you could still go to the shoreline, and you could still just, you know, catch 3 2-pounders like that. It was crazy. Anyways, guys, this is a video. You know, you have your highs and your lows. You know, at the end of the day, you know, not giving up, not going to the weigh-ins 15 minutes early. You know, they really just, by the skin of our teeth, we freaking snatched 3rd place. That's probably will go down. That or Sparrow Lake, if you check that video, I love that video from last year, where we tied 2nd and won the tie ringer with the big fish. I have a trophy up here for that one, for that big guy. Lionel caught a smallmouth that was like 3 pounds, and that couldn't have been more than like 15 minutes before weigh-in, so that largemouth was kind of like just as clutch for us. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching, and I don't know what's coming up next. Got a few things in the works, but thank you guys for watching. Lots more content coming soon, and take care, guys.